I had a terrible stepbrother. To stop me from inheriting the family fortune, he bullied and tormented me. Until one day, I presented as an Omega. He pinned me to the bed, threatening and coaxing me. A bastard like you thinks he belongs in this house. Young master, the master said the little one's been abused before. He's mentally unstable and pitiful, might as well keep him around. An idiot? My mom brought me into this family after she remarried. Right now, I was standing nervously in front of Lincoln, clutching the hem of my shirt. Compared to his perfectly tailored, expensive-looking suit, I looked shabby and pathetic. I'm not stupid. I shouted angrily at Lincoln. Mom said I'll present as an alpha even better than you and take all your inheritance. They looked at me like I was some sort of strange creature. Right after I said that, my eyes started to well up with tears. Then Lincoln's tall figure walked toward me. His eyes were cold as he grabbed me by the collar and threw me out of the house. It was pouring rain outside. My last dad used to beat me. I liked this one, he gave me good food and fun toys. So I didn't want to leave. Mom warned me that Lincoln wasn't someone I could mess with. She told me to endure and stay low. Because one day, I'd present as a powerful alpha. And when that day came, he wouldn't be able to lay a hand on me. Lincoln, just wait for me. The rain poured down my face. I choked on a breath, and everything blurred. I'd never said anything so harsh before, it scared even me. My voice started to tremble. Wait till I become an alpha stronger than you. I'll beat the crap out of you. I kept pounding on the door until my hands turned red. But Lincoln never opened it. I stood in the rain for an hour before I fainted. In a haze, I vaguely heard Lincoln's cold, scornful voice right next to my ear. Thought you were an alpha? Just a little rain and you're already down. In the midst of the fog, I thought I caught a whiff of cool pine. And my whole body started to heat up. When I woke up again, I had a fever. My glands were burning hot, and I felt weak all over. It was the sign. I was about to present. Finally. I could take my revenge. If everything went well today, I'd officially become an alpha. And beat the crap out of Lincoln in front of everyone. Because I'd been brought into this family, I transferred to the same elite academy. But my glands were burning, and even the fever medicine didn't seem to work. Several alphas passing by looked at me with strange expressions. Through the haze, I saw a few of them walking over. You're Beckett? I blinked and nodded. They suddenly grabbed my hair. It hurt. The familiar pain triggered something in me, and I instinctively curled up like a frightened bird, trembling and too scared to resist. Lincoln said we can do whatever we want to you at school now. Their laughter was terrifying. Blame yourself for crossing Lincoln. They dragged me into a deserted alley. My freshly cleaned school uniform was ripped apart. Heavy fists pounded into me. I cried from the pain. Clutching my head, my voice came out in broken gasps. If you hit me, I'll go home and beat Lincoln to death. I thought sounding fierce would scare them. But then I heard a voice I knew all too well, cold and mocking. My courage vanished in an instant. Lincoln was standing right there beside them. A cigarette hung from his lips as he stared down at me, expression sharp and cold. He gave the others a nod. Don't worry, Lincoln. We'll make sure this little punk gets what he deserves. One of them, a real brute, walked toward me. He yanked at my clothes. I struggled to no avail, panicked, and kicked him out of instinct. That earned me a punch to the face. I staggered and fell to the ground. Tears rolled down my cheeks. Crying already? After just a couple punches? And you call yourself an alpha? What a joke. Didn't you say you were going to fight me for the inheritance? Ha! This is what you've got. I bit my lip, listening to their taunts, trying to push myself back up. My head was spinning, my whole body burning like fire. What's the big deal about ganging up on me? If you've got guts, fight me one-on-one. They burst into laughter. You serious? Lincoln's an S-class alpha. He could crush you with one finger. You think you're even worth his time? Even the few of us together wouldn't stand a chance against Lincoln. You're just trash. S-class alphas are that powerful? A spark lit up in my eyes. Then, if I could become something even higher, wouldn't everyone be scared of me? No one would ever hit me again. No one would ever dare bully me again. Maybe my desire was too strong. My presentation sped up. A faint trail of pheromones began to seep out. I didn't even realize it. Stumbling, I leaned against the wall. The nearest alpha suddenly froze. What's that smell? Shit, don't tell me you're actually an Omega? 3. What? No way. I'm an alpha. Mom even showed me the report. There was a high chance I'd present as a strong alpha. This must be because I just presented, my pheromones are probably still unstable. I tried to release more pheromones. Alpha pheromones can suppress others. If my rank is higher, they'll be scared of me. Suddenly, Lincoln's expression changed. He tossed his cigarette away and strode toward me. Was he finally going to make a move? I braced myself, ready to defend, but my body had already lost its strength. The moment he reached out his arm, I quickly grabbed his forearm and bit down hard on the base of his thumb. Why wasn't he reacting? I bit down harder, tasting blood. When I looked up, he merely frowned and yanked me over. I stumbled a few steps and fell into his arms. Then he pulled back my collar, leaned in close to the side of my neck, and sniffed something. His face turned terrifyingly dark. My jaw ached from clenching, but I reluctantly let go. A blood-stained mark mixed with saliva appeared on the back of his hand. That was revenge. A flicker of satisfaction rose in my chest. Lincoln didn't even fight back after I bit him and drew blood. I figured he must have been overpowered by my pheromones and didn't dare touch me. Well, Lincoln, I told you I'd present as an alpha stronger than you. Scared now? His jaw tightened. He was gritting his teeth like he was holding something back. Idiot. A cold hand touched the back of my neck. The sudden chill hit my burning gland, making me shiver. Lincoln. A few of the alphas behind us took a step forward. But Lincoln barked, "Get lost." They swallowed nervously and scattered. They all ran away, because of me. My eyes lit up. Was I really that powerful? But aren't alphas supposed to be strong? Why was I so weak I couldn't even stand? I had to lean against Lincoln just to stay upright. His grip on my nape hurt slightly. A few tears rolled down my cheeks. Then, a trace of aggressive, cold pine drifted into my nose. The burning in my body worsened, and I instinctively leaned closer to Lincoln. Lincoln. Why do you smell like an Omega? Are you wearing perfume? That's disgusting. I'm disgusting. His sharp gaze sent a chill through me. My whole body trembled, and the tears came down even harder. Then a large coat fell over my shoulders. He scooped me up effortlessly and walked out of the alley. Put me down, Lincoln. Where are you taking me? If you sell me, I swear I'll make you regret it. He shoved me into a private car. When I started clawing at the door to get out, he yanked me back into his arms, holding me tightly by the waist so I couldn't move. You idiot. Stop leaking pheromones, or I won't be responsible for what happens. I was terrified, barely conscious, and had no idea how to control my pheromones. I tried to pull them back, but ended up releasing even more. Lincoln let out a low grunt. His expression twisted slightly. His ears flushed red as if he was holding something in. 4. Lincoln really liked carrying me around. I was supposed to be a powerful alpha. This was so undignified. Bang! He tossed me onto the bed, and I bounced before landing flat again. Standing over me, he tugged at his collar with one hand. During a presentation, the body becomes hypersensitive to pain. I rubbed my aching lower back. Realizing this was Lincoln's room, I struggled to get up and leave. But he pinned me down with one hand. Stay still. Are you an idiot? Going to school like this, you want to get marked by those bastards and come home carrying someone's mutt? He shouted so loudly the veins on his forehead popped. He looked furious. What was he even talking about? Weren't those guys sent by him to bully me? Why did he look even angrier than I was? Back then, whenever my dad got mad, he'd scream and hit me. Lincoln was way more powerful, so getting hit by him would hurt a lot more. I curled up, hugging my head, shaking all over, bracing myself for the blow. Scared now? He scoffed coldly. What are you going to do? Out of the corner of my eye, I saw him pull out a long syringe. Panicking, I scrambled back. But he grabbed the back of my knee and dragged me right back. No, I don't want a shot. Just hit me instead, however you want. I can take it. I burst into tears, clutching at his shirt, trembling as I begged. Lincoln held the syringe, his face dark and unreadable. You won't take a suppressant? How else are you going to get through your heat? I didn't understand what he meant. But I knew he was giving me a choice. Mom always said, a real man knows when to yield. If I couldn't beat Lincoln, maybe I could try being cute. So I scooted closer, looking at him pitifully. No shot. I'm scared. Please, big brother. He froze. His gaze narrowed dangerously. What did you just call me? I flinched. Lincoln didn't like me. Especially not a stepbrother competing for the inheritance. He definitely wouldn't want me calling him that. So I didn't say anything, just let the tears fall silently. He leaned in and stared at me. His expression softened a little. Say it again, and I won't give you the shot. You mean it? What was his problem? Was he just looking for a reason to get mad? Brother. My voice came out soft and timid. The scent on Lincoln changed. It had always been cold and oppressive. But now, it felt different, almost addictive. I couldn't help leaning closer to him. What cologne is that? It smells really nice. My head was fuzzy. I just wanted to get near whatever made me feel better. I thought you said it was disgusting. He looked down at me, rubbing my head against him, and snorted. It is disgusting. You're an alpha wearing perfume. It's gross and nasty. Lincoln's expression darkened immediately. 5. Where did you learn to talk like that? My dad used to curse like that. I watched as Lincoln put the syringe away and finally felt a bit relieved. Fearing he might change his mind, I clung tightly to his waist. Lincoln looked fierce and was built strong and muscular. I quietly promised myself I'd get stronger than him someday. Hearing me, he seemed to think of something. He lifted my shirt and started to pull it up. I was so thin it felt like I could be crushed in a pinch, and my skin was marked with scars, old and new. Afraid he'd mock me, I looked away, trying to cover my shirt. But instead, he grabbed my dirty shirt and ripped it off, tossing it aside. Hey! I caught his hand, feeling uneasy as he stared openly at me. I wanted to run away. Didn't you say no shots? So you want me to help you, huh? Help me? How? I was miserable, but I didn't need his help. Confused, I stared at him. Lincoln then took off his tie and tied it over my mouth. Grabbing my wrist and pinning it under him. What are you doing, MMPH? To stop you, you little idiot, from screaming. Father and the others are downstairs. Be good. Trust me. No way I trusted this big jerk. I wanted to fight back, but just smelling Lincoln made my body go weak. His voice was cruel, with a mocking laugh. Why are you crying everywhere? Are you made of water? I whimpered softly. Lincoln didn't hit me, but his hands wandered over me. The humiliation was clear, I was both angry and annoyed. But my body wouldn't cooperate, it felt oddly pleasant, and the burning eased a bit. Be good. Call me brother. Lincoln's voice was husky and low, coaxing gently in my ear. I stubbornly turned my head away. His touch grew bolder. Ha! Tears streamed down my face from the physical response. Like a fish out of water, I was helpless and could only beg for mercy. The sound of my voice startled me. Was this the voice of a proud alpha? Brother! Brother, let go of me! His breath was hot and frightening. Suddenly, he bit the back of my neck hard. I cried from the pain, my hands weak against his chest. That grudge holder. I only bit his hand, but he bit my neck back. You get to bite me, but I'm not allowed to bite you. A smirk lifted the corner of his mouth, like he wasn't done yet. Then he pressed my hand against his scorching chest. Good. Now it's your turn to help me. Lincoln had many ways to bully someone. After hurting me, he kept toying with me. He wiped my tears and even applied medicine, eyes gleaming with a wicked smile. Feel better now? I resisted for a moment but eventually nodded obediently. The pain was gone, except for a dull ache at the back of my neck. I learned one thing: Lincoln was a spiteful man who never forgot a grudge. 6. Your son has indeed presented as an Omega. I stared at my mother's furious, twisted face. The report in my hand was crushed into a ball. That's impossible. They said before my son had a 98% chance of becoming an S-class alpha. The doctor's expression was serious. Before your son presented, he was exposed to pheromones from an alpha in heat, and he also showed signs of being marked. These factors caused him to present as an Omega. My mother's expression shifted. She impatiently dragged me out of the hospital, her eyes full of disgust. Which alpha? I stammered, but she was certain it was my fault. Beckett, there's something wrong with your head. You look so skinny, what alpha would chase after you? You must have seduced someone. I did everything to marry into this family, hoping you'd succeed someday and gain power. But look at you, acting so disgraceful. How can you even compare to Lincoln? Do you want me to live with my head bowed forever? I bit my lip until it bled, swallowing back tears of humiliation. So Lincoln's scent wasn't perfume after all, it was the pheromones from his heat phase. He deliberately released them to suppress me and even marked me. He didn't want me to have the ability to compete for the inheritance. He even made my mother despise me. I hated him. That night, I barged into Lincoln's room, my eyes red and swollen, demanding answers. He just sneered cruelly. Right, I did it on purpose. Now you can only wait to be assigned a marriage. Oh, and you're an idiot too, marked by me, so you'll be assigned the lowest ranking alpha to breed with, non-stop. He grabbed my chin. Why don't you beg me, Maybe if I get bored of playing, I'll take pity on you and keep you around, so you don't have to get married so soon. I slapped his hand away. You're disgusting, shameless and vile. His face went cold. He flipped me over the desk and pinned me down. Get off me. Get off. I struggled helplessly, shouting in panic. Just as I opened my mouth to scream for help, he covered my mouth tightly. Suddenly, someone knocked at the door. Lincoln, is Beckett with you? I thought I heard his voice. Lincoln's other hand continued roaming over me, but his voice was calm. No, you must be mistaken. My mother hissed strangely outside, then her footsteps faded away. Tears poured from my eyes. I was no match for Lincoln. Ugh! His gaze was dangerously dark. He chuckled low and flooded me with his pheromones, making me feel overwhelmed. His fingers skillfully undid my pants. This was worse than before. I couldn't hold back gasping. He pressed down on the back of my tongue with a finger. Then something bitter dropped into my throat, medicine. Cough cough. He forced me to swallow the pill. I choked hard, unable to spit it out. Lincoln, what did you make me take? To make you become an Omega. His expression was calm as he wiped the glistening medicine off his finger. His quiet words sent chills down my spine. 6. From the day you arrived here, I made sure they put this medicine in every meal you ate. J, just because you were afraid I'd compete for the family inheritance? TSK. Even if you really do become an alpha, there's no way you could beat me. He sneered, then gently wiped my tear tracks from my cheek with his fingers. You're such an idiot, you know? You're useless at everything and can only be toyed with and played around. His words were harsh, but the pheromones surrounding me felt warm and gentle. I'm not an idiot. Mother said I'm the smartest. He pushed my legs apart with his knee, leaning close to whisper in my ear. Oh yeah. You don't even know what pheromones are, and yet I marked you so easily. Do you know what it means to be marked by an alpha? His fingers toyed with my earlobe, eyes flashing dangerously. The pheromones around us shifted suddenly. Every time I smelled Lincoln's pheromones, my whole body went weak and my head spun. I wanted to lean into him, to be held. But when I reached out, he coldly ignored me. I didn't dare take the initiative to hug him, the emotions inside me felt suffocating. Want brother to teach you a lesson, hmm? His hand slid slowly along my waist, one palm covering my entire stomach. His thumb pressed hard, pain shot through me and I let out a muffled whimper. Once I mark you, you'll obey me for life. Omegas can't resist alphas. Without smelling my pheromones, you won't survive. Really? I shrank back. Then Lincoln suddenly pulled back all his pheromones. Being a high-level alpha, he controlled his scent perfectly. The cold pine scent vanished instantly. I felt empty inside, staring at his cold face, tears welling up from helplessness. Seeing me look so pitiful, he smirked with satisfaction, a teasing glint in his eyes. Believe me now. Beg me, and I'll give you pheromones. I bit my lip hard, the emptiness inside me growing unbearable, like it was swallowing me whole. Please, please. Beg who? Lincoln. He frowned. No, you have to say, beg brother. Beg brother. Good. He ruffled my hair and generously released pheromones to me. Brother, is that better? The pheromones were so intense, he was clearly teasing me on purpose. Wah. Brother's bad. He chuckled low in his throat, stopped teasing, released me, and stepped back. I felt a huge relief and hurriedly staggered toward the door, wanting to escape. It was terrifying. You brought this on yourself, Beckett. You deserve it. If you want the money, you have to endure everything I do to you. Don't forget, you'll never become an alpha. You're just a defective omega who can't control your pheromones. I gripped the door handle tightly, hearing his insults. Just a little idiot. 7. I didn't see Lincoln for many days. He was an outstanding military academy student and had started working early. According to the servants, he was involved in some crucial operation, one that would bring honor. I nervously went to school every day, expecting those alphas to bully me again. But surprisingly, I never saw them again. My body just kept feeling worse and worse. At night, I couldn't help but think about Lincoln. That big jerk, why was I thinking about him? Could it be true what he said? If I couldn't smell his pheromones, would I really die? Just as my worry grew, Lincoln came back. This time, he came home with a beautiful omega. The servants said this omega was Lincoln's arranged partner. He was handsome, bright, and smiled sweetly. Standing next to Lincoln, he seemed to glow. But Lincoln didn't seem to talk to him much. After dinner, Lincoln went straight to his room. I hesitated, then knocked on his door. Lincoln was tending to a wound with a first aid kit. I hesitated but approached him. He raised an eyebrow and smiled slightly. What do you want? You're hurt? Are you caring about me? I bit my lip, quickly denying it. No, I just want your pheromones. Hearing that, he sucked in a breath. Come here. As I shuffled closer, he suddenly grabbed my waist and set me on his lap. You little idiot, do you know what it means to ask others for pheromones? His Adam's apple moved as his eyes seemed to want to devour me. I felt confused. You said I'd die without your pheromones. It's been days. I'm scared. He leaned in closer, fingers with a hint of blood tracing my lips, eyes half closed. You little idiot, I think I'm starting to like you more and more. It's been days, have you missed me? Does Lincoln have mind-reading powers? How else would he know I couldn't stop thinking about him? I only hated him, hated that he turned me into an Omega. Nothing more. But what he just said, like he liked me. Are you serious? No one had ever said they liked me. Even my mother seemed to despise me. Since I became an Omega, she barely acknowledged me. Ha, just kidding. I knew it. Lincoln loved to lie. He lowered his gaze to my lips. Little idiot, kiss me and I'll give you pheromones. I won't. He seemed surprised by how quickly I refused, his expression darkening. Kissing is for people who like each other. You're so mean to me, I won't kiss you. Mean to you? Then who's nice to you? Dad and Mom. I answered matter-of-factly. Lincoln's eyes turned cold. One old man who gave you trash a few times, you think he's good? And that poisonous woman, didn't she slap you before I left? You can't say that. Mom just thinks I'm useless. It's my own fault. Lincoln was silent for a few seconds, then grabbed the back of my neck and forced me to accept a kiss that was anything but gentle. I bit his lips back out of spite. Learning to bite, huh? Not bad. He licked the blood from his lips with a captivating look. The faint scent of pine surrounded me as he lifted my chin and gently bit the back of my neck. It tickled but didn't hurt. The pheromones eased my discomfort immediately. Enough? Let's go, I need to change the bandage. I didn't want to stay a second longer. Hurriedly, I escaped the room. Not watching where I was going, I almost bumped into that beautiful Omega. 8. You can call me Jude. It was the first time someone had tried to befriend me. Lincoln's arranged partner was named Jude. He spoke gently, I liked him. But there was often a curious look in his eyes that made me uneasy. You're Lincoln's younger brother, right? He handed me a gift, a cute toy teddy bear. I nodded. My name's Beckett. Thank you. He chuckled softly, then glanced at my messy collar. The bite marks Lincoln left earlier were still visible, and I awkwardly tightened my collar, feeling embarrassed. Beckett, do you like your brother? I hate him. Without thinking, I said it, tears glistening in my eyes. He always bullies me. Jude sat beside me and patted my head. I have a way to make sure he never bullies you again. What way? Suddenly I perked up. As long as he marries me, I'll be able to move in here, and I'll protect you, okay? It was the first time someone had said they wanted to protect me. I nodded eagerly. He slipped a small packet of powder into my palm. Will this work against Lincoln? He's so strong, how could he be afraid of something like this? Lincoln never takes anything from others, but if it comes from you, he probably won't refuse. Jude smiled slyly, like a little fox. If you secretly get him to drink it tomorrow night, he'll marry me soon after. Okay. I'll try. Jude was such a good person, I was sure he wouldn't lie. I put the teddy bear by my bedside, unable to hide my joy. 9. Jude showed me how to mix the powder into milk. My hands trembled as I held the cup. Lincoln seemed surprised I approached him on my own. Growing up? Bringing milk to brother now? His burning gaze made me nervous, and I lowered my eyes, telling my first ever lie. I can't drink it anymore. Throwing it away would be wasteful. You've drunk it before? Realizing I'd slipped up, I quickly shook my head. No. I thought Lincoln would be disgusted, but instead, he seemed happier, taking the milk and drinking it all. I watched his throat move as he swallowed, quietly clutching the corner of my shirt. This should be enough, right? Would Lincoln really marry Jude? Lincoln licked his lips and scanned me from head to toe. You little idiot, are you feeling okay up there? My head's always been fine. I touched my head, puzzled. But Lincoln had a fresh, unhealed scar on his temple. Hearing me, he looked disappointed. Well, brother should rest. I'm heading back. Jude didn't want me to stay long in his room. After leaving Lincoln's room, I couldn't wait to tell Jude the good news. Beckett is amazing, really great. He gave me more toys, and I was so happy I could barely carry them all. Beckett, go play in your room, okay? Don't come out no matter what happens. Dad and Mom weren't home today. I didn't understand what he meant, but I obediently nodded. With so many new toys, I stayed excited until past midnight before finally feeling sleepy. Just as I was about to sleep, someone knocked forcefully on my door. The noise was as loud as a bear banging. I shivered in fear. Remembering what Jude said, I hid under the covers, too scared to respond. Fine then. Lincoln's dark, hoarse voice came from outside. My heart skipped a beat. Beckett, you're getting gutsy. After a moment of silence, I thought Lincoln had left and sighed in relief. But then I heard the clicking of keys. I was doomed. This was Lincoln's house, and he had the keys. 10. The door was pushed open and then slammed and locked again behind him. Lincoln's angry pheromones washed over me. I gripped the blanket but he dragged me close anyway. An alpha's anger pheromones were terrifying, I felt like I was suffocating. How dare you drug me? So eager for me to marry that Omega? He gritted his teeth and held the back of my neck, his overwhelming pheromones stopping me from escaping. His scent hit me like a wave, making me dizzy. My body went cold, then hot again. What was happening? Had Jude tricked me? Why was Lincoln here? This time, Lincoln was furious, making every touch painful, ignoring my struggles. The marking was deepened again and again. Lincoln, please stop biting me. Ugh, brother, no more. I'm sorry. Too late. You made the mistake, now suffer. My voice cracked, both hurt and angry. You drugged me, so why can't I drug you? You just bully me, you jerk. I drugged you, damn it. I cursed silently. Seeing me cry so badly, he softened bit by bit. The medicine I gave you is for healing. I couldn't catch my breath, tears blurring my vision, unable to take in his words. He sighed, scooped me up by the waist, and gently patted my back. Don't cry, be good. I lied before, that was medicine. You're talking nonsense. I'm not sick. If it weren't for you, I wouldn't have become an Omega. Your inheritance would have been mine, and Mom wouldn't hate me. I poured out all my grievances from these past days. He sighed helplessly. You little idiot, if you want the inheritance that badly, there's another way. What way? I perked up, but he didn't say more. Forget it, you wouldn't understand anyway. Lincoln was really petty and quick-tempered. Only near dawn did he calm down, holding me and gently coaxing me to sleep. I wanted to ask Jude for answers. But I was so tired I couldn't even lift a finger. His low, coaxing voice lulled me to sleep. Lincoln, will you marry Jude? No. I heard his answer, then fell into a deep sleep. 11. When I woke up, Lincoln was already gone. I touched my aching glands, feeling sharp stabbing pains in my head. Fragments of memory surfaced vaguely, and the world seemed clearer somehow. Post-traumatic syndrome, malnutrition, pheromone imbalance, autism. The patient has severe psychological issues and is likely suffering from selective amnesia. I vaguely recalled the doctor saying something like that after I hit my head. But most memories were still blurred. Lincoln hadn't lied, I really was sick. But I wasn't stupid. Bang! I heard arguing downstairs as I opened the door. Get lost. Lincoln, are you kicking me out? Jude's voice was sharp. I saved your life. Without me, do you think you'd still be here? How can you treat me like this, just because of a fool? Smack! I flinched at the sharp slap echoing through the living room. Jude's words cut off abruptly. Lincoln had actually hit Jude. "Lincoln, you'll regret this." Jude might have lost his mind. He laughed instead of getting angry, then glared fiercely at me before storming off. I hesitated but went downstairs, gripping Lincoln's shirt corner. He turned, his fierce gaze quickly softening. "Can you not send Jude away?" Lincoln picked me up and sat me on his lap, feeding me snacks from the table. "If he corrupts you, why can't I send him away? Jude's my only good friend." My mind cleared and clouded in waves. Strange, I'd never thought Lincoln was handsome before, only thought he was fierce. He gave me so many toys and treated me well. "I only drugged you because I wanted to get back at you." Lincoln paused, frowning at me. Before, I'd have thought he was angry. Now, with the same expression, I wasn't afraid at all. "You like toys? I'll buy you more and throw his away." After I finished eating, he held out another pill to me. This time, I didn't resist and obediently swallowed it. His eyes lit up, and he tentatively asked, "Did you remember something?" I spoke honestly. "I did. The doctor said I'm sick." His eyes darkened, a bitter smile tugging at his lips, but he said nothing. "Lincoln, is there something you want to tell me?" I felt more attuned to his emotions. "Nothing. It's better if you don't remember." He let go and slipped back into his usual arrogant, wealthy air demeanor. 12. As my mind cleared day by day, my schoolwork improved rapidly. I was desperate to understand the blurry memories. The more Lincoln stayed silent, the more curious I became. For example, I suddenly remembered that I hadn't turned into an Omega after coming here. I was originally an Alpha. Father had wanted to sell me for money, injecting transformation drugs that destroyed my glands, because only Omegas could fetch a high price. Also, I recalled how my mother married into this family. Lincoln noticed my strange expression and slid his hand under the table to cover my leg. Opposite us sat father and mother. I clenched my legs nervously, avoiding Lincoln's gaze. "Beckett, Lincoln hasn't been bullying you, has he?" Father asked with a smile. No." I nodded quickly, pretending I'd eaten enough and hurried out of the dining room. The more guilty I felt toward Lincoln, the more I wanted to escape this family. Mother had schemed against Lincoln's mother to get close to father. The homewrecker had taken over, with me, her illegitimate child, in tow. And I had been so arrogant, wanting to snatch Lincoln's inheritance. If I were Lincoln, I probably would have done worse. Lincoln liked sneaking in at night to hold me as I fell asleep. Even locking the door didn't stop him. "You little idiot, what's wrong? Not happy today?" An arm around my waist made his presence impossible to ignore. "Sleepy?" I muttered, not wanting to talk. Cold pine-scented pheromones surrounded me. But he thought I was sulking. "Still hate brother? Just because I sent your good friend away?" "No." Now that my mind was clear, Lincoln's tone grated on me. He always talked to me like I was an idiot. I also realized Jude wasn't a real friend. Maybe my attitude hadn't been so cold before. Lincoln's hand tightened on my waist. "You little idiot." "I'm not an idiot." "Okay, if you're not an idiot, then what are you, you little dummy?" He laughed low in his throat. "You little idiot, when you get better, I'll give you all the inheritance, okay?" Looking into his deep eyes, my head throbbed. I suddenly understood what he meant. To get the inheritance, either you become an outstanding alpha, or you arrange a marriage like Jude. My ears flushed red. "That's impossible. You'd better listen to father and marry Jude. He's excellent and saved your life." Lincoln pressed his thin lips to my forehead but didn't respond. He always treated me like an idiot, so naturally, he wouldn't confront me seriously. "Go to sleep." After a long time in the dark, I heard him whisper beside me. But this time, I didn't fall asleep. "Beckett, don't think you can forget me and get rid of me." 13. Lincoln lied to me again. He said he wouldn't marry Jude. But just days later, I overheard the servants discussing their wedding date. My heart ached. Before, I hadn't felt much. I knew Lincoln was teasing me, playing with me. But this time, my feelings took over first. I felt awful but couldn't cry. Lincoln burst into my room angrily at night. He slammed the door, startling me. He didn't explain, his eyes bypassed me, heading straight for my teddy bear. Hey! Don't! Seeing him about to throw it away, I ran and clung to his arm. That's my first toy. You can't throw it away. Lincoln's eyes reddened, veins bulging on his temple as he lowered his voice to soothe me. Be good. Brother will buy you many toys. This one's no good. Let's throw it out. Ignoring my protests, he took the bear out and tossed it in the trash. When I followed him, he even lit a lighter and burned the teddy bear. The tears I'd held back for so long finally spilled out. Lincoln turned, scooped me up, and patted my back relentlessly. Don't cry, be good. Jude's a bad guy. The toys he gives aren't good. Brother will buy you lots tomorrow, okay? He wiped my tears, his pheromones wrapping around me gently and warmly. A bad guy, and you're going to marry him? I sniffled. I don't believe you. You're the worst bad guy. You always lie to me. I hate you. How could I lie to you? Lincoln carried me back inside and threw all those toys out at once. You never tell me what I forgot. He paused and soothing me. Be good, don't think about it. He still wouldn't say. I got angrier. Then I forbid you from marrying Jude. You can't be with anyone else. He let me fuss but gave no further promises. 14. The day I fully woke up was the day of Lincoln's engagement. The servants were all whispering about it. Lincoln hadn't come to my room last night either. I couldn't sleep at all. Only just before dawn did I manage to sleep for an hour. It felt like something inside my mind had broken open. Memories flooded in like a tidal wave. Brother, you're so good. What's your name? Lincoln. Brother Lincoln, if I become an alpha, will I be as strong as you? Brother Lincoln, it hurts so much. He always hits me. Lincoln, I don't want to live anymore. I wish I had your luck. Lincoln, I turned into an alpha. Are you happy for me? Lincoln, I wish I were an Omega so I could be with you forever. Lincoln, I killed him. I'm scared. I want to forget all of this. As usual, I got dressed and looked at the expressionless face in the mirror, numb, cold, world-weary. Beckett, don't come to the engagement party. Your mind isn't right, I'm afraid you'll embarrass me. Mother said from outside the door. I'll go. She shuddered at my words, scanning me with disgust. You're bold now, aren't you? Dare to be disobedient? I smiled faintly. You're not my mother, so you have no right to control me. Her whole body stiffened, swallowing nervously. Beckett, what are you saying? Are you not fully awake? My smile widened, but my eyes grew darker, more sickly as I stared her down. Finally, I whispered. Don't get in my way. Unless, you want the same fate as that man? You. She stumbled back in fear, clutching the railing. Thanks to Lincoln, I remembered everything. I brushed past her and went early to the location they said. 15. Lincoln and I were both kids from the orphanage. He was 2 years older and always protected me. If life had a turning point, it was the day we were adopted. I was taken home by a drunkard. He was the eldest son. I was a poor stray. If I had half his luck, I wouldn't be in such a miserable state. At first, I could sneak out to find him. Later, I was locked away. Father liked to hit me, especially after he found out I was turning into an alpha. Because from the start, he only adopted me for my cute, soft appearance, planning to wait until I became an Omega to sell me for a good price. But I had ruined his plans. Every day, I watched Lincoln appear on the news. He was the perfect heir. A privileged, happy life, a perfect future. When we were young, we promised to stay together forever. He would be my brother and protect me always. But he broke that promise. I was just discarded trash. So, in the final fight, I pushed that drunkard down the stairs. And this woman, my so-called mother, rarely came home and never stopped the abuse. I called her back home, using father's name. I forged evidence and pinned the blame on her. Numb and terrified, I threatened her. I'm going home. That day, I said, I don't care what tricks you use, flirting with the head of the family, being a mistress, I just want to be Lincoln's brother. I will become the best alpha and help you grab the inheritance. By then, I had been injected multiple times with overdose transformation drugs. I knew I was about to become an Omega. But it didn't matter. All I wanted was Lincoln. Why should he get to live such a happy life? Since he broke his promise and abandoned me, I would force him to keep it, my way. 16. I played with a small knife. Across from me sat the handsome Jude. If I said one wrong thing, I'd slash his pretty face. You. Beckett, you're not an idiot. I chuckled lightly, dragging the blade across his neck. He was pampered, with soft skin that broke with a light scratch. Jude, what leverage do you have over Lincoln, The engagement ceremony was an hour away. No one knew that the person Lincoln was about to marry was terrified, tears streaking down his face. Let me guess. Used to struggling in darkness and cruelty, I quickly figured it out. The toys. You put cameras in those toys, didn't you? Ha, you're really a genius, Jude. Jude's terrified eyes didn't understand what I meant. I'll delete the videos, I was wrong. Please let me go. I shouldn't have used those videos to threaten Lincoln. Who said you could delete them? I raised an eyebrow, took the videos he handed over, and examined the contents with satisfaction. I'd kept the teddy bear by my bed the whole time. The videos clearly showed what Lincoln did to me after the medicine that day. I cried and struggled so much in the footage, it was heartbreaking. Sitting at the computer, I replaced the romantic videos meant to play at the engagement ceremony with these. Beckett, you're not an idiot. You're crazy. You're mad. Jude seemed utterly frightened. I patted his cheek, praising him. Jude, I was just worrying how to tie Lincoln to me for life. It's thanks to you, Jude. I wanted to kill you before, but now I'm happy you helped me. Otherwise, let's be lifelong friends, okay? Jude fainted from fear. The bride was missing at the engagement ceremony. Guests whispered in the hall. But the videos played on time. I stayed in my room, waiting. The door suddenly burst open. I calmly met Lincoln's furious gaze at the entrance. He froze completely, his chest heaving violently. Beckett, you. Lincoln immediately recognized the old me. That's why I'm grateful I hit my head that day. Only by becoming a harmless fool could I lower Lincoln's guard. 17. When I got home, Lincoln was being beaten. I raised you all these years just for you to do something worse than an animal? Beckett's a fool, and you dare lay a hand on a fool? That was the first time I realized they actually had family rules. Lincoln wasn't spoiled growing up. You've brought shame to the family. What face do you have left to live? Lincoln's face was calm. When he saw me, he forced a meaningful smile. He didn't know where he was hurt, blood ran down his arm. Wah! I rubbed my eyes and cried as I rushed to block father. Stop hitting my brother, Wah, what did he do wrong? Beckett, don't come closer. He bullies you and you still defend him. Brother didn't bully me. It's all my fault. I'll behave. Please don't hit him anymore, father. Father sighed deeply and put down the stick as thick as a table leg. What a sin. He said no more and left angrily. Only Lincoln and I were left in the living room. He turned his head away, not wanting to look at me. I lowered my hands, my eyes red from rubbing but no tears came. I bent down and gently reached out to hug him. Brother, Didn't you always want my mind to get better? Why aren't you happy now? Beckett, you're not fully healed yet. He supported himself on his knees, trembling from pain, but spoke calmly like he was used to it. If you like me, you don't need to use such extreme ways. Is it because I was extreme that you avoided me all these years? Lincoln sighed, his eyes deep yet serious. Beckett, I wasn't avoiding you. I was waiting to become strong enough to take you away from there. I promised to protect you. I won't break that promise. A lie. All these years, I was the one trying to get close to Lincoln. Even now, if it weren't for me, he'd have married Jude long ago. 18. Lincoln must hate me. I clung to him all these years, using underhanded tricks to get close. After becoming a fool, I only sparked a brief interest and pity from him. Unexpectedly, after I ruined the engagement ceremony, Lincoln wasn't very angry. I also ruined his perfect reputation. Yet he still came to my room every night, holding me as I slept. The biggest headache was Father. He couldn't accept me being with Lincoln. Changing my identity was one thing, he could accept that. What he couldn't accept was that I was sick. Now everyone knew I was a fool, and Lincoln was forcibly keeping me. If he married me, it would be a permanent stain. Lincoln, do you want me dead? In the dark, I whispered with my eyes closed. No. My tongue tasted bitter and numb. Lincoln gave me a different medicine to take. Be good, don't think nonsense. Wait a little longer, you're not healed yet. The day I came home, why did you use your heat phase pheromones to seduce me and provoke me? If you had just kicked me out, none of this would have happened. I murmured this in his arms. You provoked me. His voice hit my mind like a stab of pain. Beckett, you have pheromone disorder. As long as you're near me, you'll emit pheromones. No matter what form you take, that won't change. His voice was low, with no hint of lying. Whether you're alpha or omega, I like your scent. My heat phase was triggered by you. My eyelashes trembled, my once clear mind slipped back into confusion. 19. The patient's bipolar condition has improved a lot. We can stop medication temporarily and observe. I obediently sat to the side, listening to the doctor and Lincoln negotiate. It was the first time I saw Lincoln smile so happily. If he hadn't brought me to see the doctor, I wouldn't have known I had so many illnesses. I thought recalling those dark memories would torment me. But every time I woke from nightmares, seeing Lincoln's face and his instinctive soothing, I gradually found peace. Lincoln, I did something very bad. It's not your fault. He comforted me gently. Seeing I was still uneasy, he switched tactics. If you want me to forgive you, call me brother one more time. Brother. I don't know when Lincoln became so easy to please. Before, he was very stubborn. If I showed any dark thoughts, he'd scold me harshly and wouldn't visit for days. Now, just calling him brother made him happily hug, kiss, and nibble me. Is it because Lincoln truly likes me now? 20. In my memory, Lincoln was always strong and healthy. From the first time I held him, I could feel it clearly. But that night, I suddenly realized. The contours in my hands had thinned without me noticing. Brother, are you tired? He was sleeping deeply, I couldn't wake him. Maybe work was exhausting him. I thought that. But his touch grew thinner day by day. Brother, wake up. After his 10th late arrival at work that month, I finally panicked. Lincoln was very sleepy. He stayed in my room sleeping until late every day. This made Father look at us very unfavorably. Brother, if work is so hard, take a break. He woke and habitually stroked my face, kissed my forehead, then went to wash and get ready. Sitting at the table, Father scrutinized me uncomfortably. Beckett, your grades are good. Would you like to study abroad? I clenched my fingers. The day finally came. Father would separate Lincoln and me sooner or later. No, I don't want to be apart from brother. Besides, brother has already marked me. Don't worry about that. I asked Lincoln. He didn't mark you for life. Father smiled kindly. Beckett, do you understand what that means? I didn't want to understand. I preferred to remain a fool who knew nothing. But playing dumb wasn't enough to face reality. That means, if you're apart for some time, you won't think about brothers so much anymore. He patiently explained. And Lincoln agreed. My head throbbed in disbelief as I looked up. No way. Brother wouldn't separate from me. Even if Lincoln didn't mark me. I couldn't stand being apart for a single second. I fought so hard to be by Lincoln's side. Yet now he wanted to send me away. Maybe I was just too tiring and annoying for him. As my condition improved, my emotions became less extreme. I realized clearly how much trouble my existence caused Lincoln. But when Father forced me to leave, I still clung to Lincoln, crying bitterly. Wah! I'm not leaving. I was wrong, don't send me away. I'll obey you from now on. Lincoln's eyes were full of affection and tenderness. But he didn't hug me back again. Beckett, it's okay. It's just going away to study for a year. Your grades are so good, you'll be more successful than me one day. I'm not sending you away. Don't be afraid. If you miss me, you can come back anytime. Really, really? I saw Father nod and finally relaxed a little. Seeing me still unwilling to let go, Lincoln bent down, tidied my clothes, and whispered comfort in my ear. Beckett, give brother some time. When I inherit the family, no one will stop us. Then, can I be with brother forever? Of course. Lincoln kissed me in front of everyone. Feel better now? 21. My illness was completely cured 6 months after studying abroad. I worked hard so I could be with Lincoln. I basically won every award. I wasn't lying. I'm not a fool, I'm very smart. But I made a foolish mistake in the one thing I shouldn't have. That was Lincoln. When I left, his health was already very poor. I found out about this through Jude. Jude sent me a photo. In it was a picture of him and Lincoln together. In just a few months, Lincoln had become gaunt. Those eyes, once bright like a starry river, had lost their warmth and spark. This time, I didn't have to threaten Jude. He voluntarily told me the truth. Maybe he was afraid I'd come back and kill him. It turned out Lincoln was severely injured in that mission. He was poisoned by a strong toxin. Jude was a military medic. He saved Lincoln's life but couldn't remove the toxin from his body. Lincoln's attitude toward me changed then. Probably because he knew his time was limited, he became more indifferent and saw his own heart clearly. He forgave me and no longer held on to the pain caused by my obsessive attachment to his family. Jude didn't tell me the full truth. That photo was taken a long time ago. Not long after that, before I recklessly returned home, I received a letter from Lincoln. When I opened it, there was only a letter and a will. He had earned honors from that mission. He really inherited the entire family estate and secured his position as head of the family. Once you're healed, I'll give you all the family property. These were Lincoln's own words to me. But I never expected. The way he meant to give me the family property was like this. With trembling fingers, I opened the letter. He had written it himself. I have a pitiful little brother. He suffers from severe psychological illness. I once vowed to protect him and cure him. But time and again, I broke that promise. I'm sorry, Beckett. I really am a terrible brother.